I'm really big about passion. What I do is teach people how to make their passion a reality and turn it into profit so that they can live that lifestyle. And Futurology Farms has been one of my passions since I can't even tell you when. And it has evolved, of course, over the years and become something more and more. In a nutshell, it is an experiential place designed to foster a few key things, and that is sustainability and the arts and a plant-based lifestyle. It's all about simplicity. So the goal really for us for a long time was to find this magical place, if you will, that we never thought would happen. We didn't think we would have the money to purchase such a large piece of land. We didn't think that we would just be able to up and move across the country. We just didn't ever really think it was a possibility, but it was this big dream that we had. And in 2015, I decided, what is life without living that dream, right? I'm tired of thinking about it. I want to live it. And so that began the process of us trying to bring it to life. And so here we are. We bought a major portion of a mountain, and this backdrop is the drive up to my mailbox. And so it has this really magical feel. As soon as you turn off the river road and go up the mountain, you suddenly feel like you've been transformed into a new place, like you're entering into this magical world. And so we're really excited about that because that kicks off the beginning of what we really wanted to do. It was all around this 2015 time that I was just tired of being tired. I was tired of being afraid of things. I was tired of imposter syndrome. I was tired of being tired of being miserable. All of those things we all have, those fears. I want this. Why isn't that happening? I want a different life, all that stuff. And I decided to take control of all that because ultimately I realized that we're in charge of our decisions, right? We can't change our circumstances per se, but we're in charge of the decisions that we make that drive the circumstances around us. And so I went through a process where I changed every element of my life step by step. And that's actually how we were able to accomplish this dream, how I retired my husband, how we were able to do all of this stuff. And I didn't really realize it at the time, but that process has become very powerful tool. So I work with people to build their business. I help them take their passion, their idea, and turn it into something. And what I realized in that process is that they were all in that same place I was, and that they needed to go through this other process that I did to get to the place to build the business and the brand. And that took me by surprise, right? So I'm fabulous with working with a brand, but I realized that many of these entrepreneurs, in particular the women who were trying to make changes in their life, were in this same space. And I felt like they needed this piece I did. So I started introducing that to my clients. And the responses I was getting was that it was changing their life and that they had their husband do it and their kids do it. So I thought, oh, okay, I just thought this was my kooky method of how I went about doing this. And so I am working on bringing that to the public, and that's called Live Your Passion. Live Your Passion is about turning your life around and accomplishing your goals and your dreams. It's about digging yourself out of that misery hole of not being happy, not being fulfilled, not having what you want. And it goes through every area of your life, right? So it'll go through relationships, your career, all of these aspects. I turned all of those upside down in my life. And it has evolved into this Live Your Passion program that I've accidentally had to introduce to my clients when they were doing their branding work. So my core offering is Love Your Brand. That's where we develop your brand. But in that process, I realized that many of them needed some clarity and some core work first before we could go to that stage. And so what I've done is now I've created that first step prior to the brand piece. One of the things that I've learned is that we can't see in our own jar. It doesn't matter who you are. When you're trying to look at your own ingredients in the jar and what that label looks like, you really can't do that yourself. So when a client comes to me and they're just sort of dumping all of their challenges and their dreams and their fear and all these things, I start to make it almost like a kaleidoscope where I put all those pieces together. I can see where it goes. And
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a big movie for me almost. I can see all the moves all the way down the line to get to the goal. I see things that others can't see. I'm this creative, intuitive visionary. One of the biggest things that will come across a lot of times with clients when they're giving a review or they're talking about how I help them, they're like, well, I knew you were going to make this great brand and I knew that, but I didn't realize the enormous amount of intangibles that I would gain from working with you. And because of that, what happens is my clients usually don't want to leave. So they stay on just for regular mentorship after the process. So that's been a huge eye opener for me as well. Live Your Passion is about the organization of your life and getting clear on your goals and your passions and being able to accomplish those things. That's all about your life and how to bring that into reality. This is why Live Your Passion is so important, because your business and your personal life are not separate. They're not, right? They're you, and you're allowed to have multiple avenues of yourself. You're a woman, a wife, a mother, and those things are just as important as building your business. And so you can separate them. And this is why Live Your Passion is so powerful, because it organizes all of those areas and gets you crystal clear on each of those things and helps you work on all of them simultaneously.
Yeah,
And
to make them
really,
happen.
it's almost like they're at a point where they're at the rock bottom, meaning that they are crystal clear that they know, I need something else in my life. I need to change my career, or I've always had this passion. I just don't know what that looks like. They are crystal clear that they know they are meant to do something else. That's the key ingredient, right? Because there's a spark or a drive there that comes with that. They know that they're just living their life, surviving, and they actually want to thrive. And they know that they're not happy in their current capacity. The important piece there is that even though I had accomplished a lot of things, I was literally working in a marketing director role, and I had earned 8 interior design awards. I had earned 6 or 7 awards for my marketing based things, social media, website design, logo design, advertising campaign, all of that. I had all of those awards. I was miserable.
Sure.
Most people would look and go, what's wrong with you? What do you mean? You had all that stuff. Why would you be unhappy? And that's the key to it. I realized this isn't what I want. I had to get clear on what it was I did want. And this is where most people fail. They are living their lives with what society has told them they want to do. And they have never been able to sort of say, well, that isn't really what I want. And they have never explored, well, what do I want? So they don't have a process of how to do that. And then more importantly, they don't have a process of how to make it become a reality. My biggest message really is life is about thriving, and you shouldn't be focused on just trying to survive. And unfortunately, I think that that's really what society teaches us. They just want us to just move along in this process that really is just basically surviving, right? You're not doing the things that allow you to really grow and thrive and enjoy and be fully fulfilled. I think that most people don't even realize that that's a possibility. They've been so sort of brainwashed into this is what life is, and it's just not. And as soon as you feel that spark of change and realize that there's something more, you're addicted. You suddenly go, oh my gosh, what have I been doing all of those years? And so my big advice is to really find your passion. And most people can't, they're really struggling. They don't, they go, oh, I don't have one. They do. They do. They just need help getting it clarified. So they need some help, which is their first thing, right? Because I get it. Most of the entrepreneurs I know are bootstrapping it, right? You're oh, I can take from my grocery bill, and I can take a little over here, and I can take a little over here. And I get that. I've done that so many times, I can't even tell you. But it's also a downfall, because now you're forcing yourself to focus not on your genius, but on
Mm-hmm.
all the other things that you think you need to be able to do your business. And what happens is you're never doing any of your genius, and you're over spinning your wheels in all these other places that are not your genius zone. And it's actually hurts your growth. So my advice there is that you need to get the right help, and you need to be crystal clear on who you are, what you want, and what you're going to do. Typically, you're in Live Your Passion, you're going through a program that's going to take you about 4 weeks to do. My goal is to get you once you start having complete clarity around what it is you're doing and how you do that, and more importantly, who it's for and what it looks like, your confidence level goes so far through the roof that it's so much easier to show up now. Imposter syndrome, what happened to that? It just disappeared because now you're clear on it. And as soon as that happens, your energy and vibration changes, and you start bringing in clients just on that very fact alone. Now you're more able to go, okay, now I understand my idea works. This is how it works. This is how they respond. Now you can begin to start building what you want to do. Most entrepreneurs are going, oh, I'm a coach, random example, but they decide one day that they love helping people and they're going to be a coach, right? And then all of a sudden they're off working on their course and their funnel and all this other stuff. And my first question to them is, what are you even selling? Do you even know that someone wants to buy that? You're building a course. How could you build a course? You haven't even sold your services yet. And then they kind of go, oh, and I'm like, so do you see how that's a complete waste of time and energy? And the odds of that failing are 100%, because you don't even know what you're doing. You don't know what you sell. You don't know what somebody wants from you yet, right? So you have to get all that narrowed down first. So you have to sort of go inward before you can go outward. And that was really the biggest lesson that I learned. I had started so many businesses. They were all successful in their own way. You know, I had started a magazine, I developed product lines, I'd done a bunch of different things. And for me, I couldn't understand why I kept going through that phase. What I realize now is it was me practicing how to turn an idea into a profitable thing. And I needed to go through that over and over and over and over again to now be able to do that for other people. Amazing. At the time, all those years, I couldn't get it. I thought something was wrong with me. I just created a magazine. Why don't I like this? Why am I bored now? It was about making this concept a thing, a tangible thing. And that's really what I was doing, practicing over and over again. So that was a huge, I had to go really inward though to figure that out. I couldn't even see it myself for a long time. So getting some help to see in your own jar is really, really important. It's really important. You Live Your Passion is a $297 investment. It goes for about a month, and it's an experiential learning course. It's a little bit of self-guided, but it's one-on-one. It's also community-based as well, so you learn from others in the process, because it's a very unique thing, and it's not something you can just take on paper and know how to do it. There's much more intricacies to it. And then they also get a personal one-on-one with me as well. I want to really make sure they're grabbing the concept and getting what they need out of it, because it's a highly intuitive process. And so there's things I'm reading and understanding about clients that I don't know that someone else could do. The first thing that's required is they have to have a 30-minute discovery call with me. They're free, of course, and my calendar's always open for those, because I want to meet you. I want to hear your story. I want to hear what your struggles are. I want to see, can I even help you?